I mean, look, they've been devastated. They lost their child or two children, and just hard to believe what, I've never seen anything like it. A little narrow river that becomes a monster, and that's what happened. But the First Lady and I are here in Texas to express the love and support and the anguish of our entire nation in the aftermath of this really horrific and deadly flood. Nobody has any idea how and why a thing like this could happen. It's, and by the way, I have to tell you, the people here, first responders, the sheriff's office, all of the police, law enforcement, they've done an unbelievable job. And in speaking to the parents, they said everybody has been so professional, from the governor to the senators, all the way down to the local people on the site that really are a little bit used to this. But they've been looking at this for years, but in much smaller doses, much smaller doses. 12 years ago, and then in 1932, they had a real bad one, but that bad one was half of what this was. But I was speaking to some of the great people in the town, and they said, no, every year we get a little bit, but it was like a little bit of a flood, right? You were telling me, and it was just a flood. We got used to it. We had people, and we took care of it, and this year it was like, what's going on, right? So all across the country, Americans' hearts are shattered. I had to be here as president. First Lady wanted to be here, and all the beautiful souls. And we're filled with grief and devastation. The loss of life. And unfortunately, they're still looking. They're still looking. There's a lot of missing children, possibly, mostly. We don't know. But they're still looking. And they'll find everybody, but it's not an easy thing. You would think it would be easy. It's very tough. I looked at what they're going through, what they have to do. But dozens and dozens of precious children taken from us with such, I looked at the pictures of almost all of them, and it's terrible. Following a torrential downpour, the worst that anyone's ever seen, Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in less than 45 minutes, and I've even heard it went well over 30 feet. There's one story that one person said it had to be 60 feet at one moment. This is like a giant wave in the Pacific Ocean that the best surfers in the world would be afraid to surf. And it unleashed a catastrophic flooding as most residents were asleep in their beds. A very dark evening. The waters claimed at least 135, 140 lives. They're getting that count, but the count that they don't have is how many are still missing. But a lot of lives, a lot of young angels. At the Girls Christian Summer Camp, known as Camp Mystic, a legendary camp, a camp that people would want to go to from all over the country. People, parents, they come and they would stay with their children. They'd stay in other cabins just to be with their children, but a legendary place. They were there because they loved God, and as we grieve this unthinkable tragedy, we take comfort in the knowledge that God has welcomed those little, beautiful girls into his comforting arms in heaven. And we believe that, have to believe that, and we do. And we lost some wonderful people beyond the little girls. We lost some very brave men and women that tried to save the girls. As our nation, we mourn for every single life that was swept away in the flood, and we pray for the families that are left behind. It's amazing the incredible spirit from those families. I don't know. I don't even know how they do it. But moments ago, Melania and I spent a lot of time with them. That's why we're a little late. I think this was a good reason to be late, frankly. And we just gave our warmest condolences. But you say to yourself, you know, how do you give condolences? How do you do that to a young person that 3 days ago was here, 4 days ago was here and vibrant, and now is no longer here? The search for the missing continues. The people that are doing it are unbelievable people. That you couldn't get better people than this anywhere, Christy, right? Anywhere in the world, you couldn't get better people. And they're doing the job like I don't think anybody else could, frankly. And I want to thank them. I want to thank all of these great first responders who raced into very grave danger. We have some people that were incredible. The single Coast Guard rescue crew saved an incredible 169 children at Camp Mystic, 169. And the camp staff was also incredibly courageous. Are those Coast Guard people around here someplace? Because I hear some incredible people. And I actually, Scott Ruskin, is he around? Where's Scott?
He's not here right now, sir, but he will be here later, and I will be
okay. Well, you let him know.
With some,
and know. John Dunn, the owner of the Hunt store, was a flood. Where are you? Okay, good. We spoke a little while ago, and it sort of, John was telling me some stories about that store, and it was just really amazing.
Yes, Mr. President. First, let me correct. I was owner of the Hunt store from 2013 till April of last year, where I actually sold the store to Haley and B.B. Lehrman, who are excellent operators, and they're on the ground right now in Hunt, leading the effort there together with the fire department, the churches, the schools, what have you. And they're doing a phenomenal job.
Good job.
My role in it is I had seller finance the deal. And
you're going to bring it back?
I'm absolutely going to bring it back.
And the walls are up, the two walls are up, and you're going to...
There's belief out there that it was a total loss. It's not. A gentleman by the name of Larry Graham put up some incredible walls in 1973. And he's a great engineer, and those walls are still standing.
Save the walls.
Save the walls.
Okay.
And the goal is, and I think we can get it done, between Haley, BB, myself, and some outside help that we're going to be getting, I think we're going to get it reopened very quickly.
Good.
I think it's important to get it open quickly because once we do, the community can get back to a sense of normalcy. I think it'll be good for the community. I think it'll accelerate the recovery process. There's a lot that has to be done, but I'm impressed and very pleased with the resources that I think are going to become available through the conversations with Chip Roy, Governor Abbott's office, and others, that we will get it done quickly. Yes, sir.
Thanks, John. Good luck with it. Okay, I'm sure you will. The search for the missing is continuing, as you know, and today I especially want to thank all of these incredible people from the Coast Guard, and you'll give my regards in particular to some of the people we mentioned. Every American should be inspired by what's taken place during this short period of time, and I want to thank Governor Abbott. He's an amazing guy. We come very, very close politically and personally, and we've had a tremendous relationship with Texas. I guess Texas brought us together. We were together fine, but now we're together a lot more, and I want to thank Cecilia, your great wife, who's been our friend for a long time. The job you do is really incredible in so many different ways, including with the border and every different way. Admired by everybody. Secretaries, Kristi Noem, Brooke Rollins, Scott Turner, and Administrator Kelly Loeffler, they all wanted to be here. Some of them hopped on the plane with me. Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, you're here among us. And thank you very much. Our great Lieutenant Governor, I see you sitting there. I don't know if they even have your name down, but when I'm here, your name is down, right? He's doing a good job, always did. Always did. Also, numerous members of Congress, including Chip Roy from the district. This is Chip's district. I had a lot of time last week we spent with Chip Roy getting that great, big, beautiful bill passed, and who would have thought... and he's not easy, but he's good. Where is he? Where's Chip? Who would have thought this was going to happen? And he called because we had a big ceremony set up, and he said, you know, we have a little bit of a flood here, and I think it's going to be a little bit, I better stay here. I better not come back and go to it. And he wanted to be there. He was a part of it, a big part of it. And then he called again, and he said, this is bad. And then it got really bad, far beyond your worst, wildest imagination, right? So thank you very much, Chip. I appreciate it. And Brian Babin also is, I don't know if Brian's here. But we do have, and I have to just give some of the names because it's very unusual. Nathaniel Moran, Dan Crenshaw, all of these people wanted to be here. Keith Self, Jake Elzey, August Pfluger, Craig Goldman, Ronnie Jackson. Where are you people? Are you here? You're all here? Where's Ronnie Jackson? Ronnie Jackson, what a person. Every one of these people is so incredible. Randy Weber, Pete Sessions, Tony Gonzalez. Well, we have everybody. Beth Van Dyne. Hi, Beth. Hi, Beth. Roger Williams. Brandon Gill. Hi, Roger. Brandon, you're here? Yes. Thanks, Brandon. Doing a good job, Brandon. Michael Cloud, John Carter, and Wesley Hunt. And we have others, but I'm not, we have to get on with it. But I did want to ask Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. He's been my friend from the beginning. He's been the chairman of all three of my campaigns, and all I know is we won by record amount, so I guess you were a pretty good chairman, right, Dan? And his son is fantastic, too, right, Dan? And his son is fantastic, too. But Attorney General Ken Paxton, Ken's around here someplace. Hi, Ken. Hi. And Director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, Freeman Martin. Freeman, thank you very much. You're doing an amazing job. Texas Chief of Emergency Management, Nim Kidd. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for greeting us, too. Major General Thomas Seltzer of the Texas Military Department. Thomas, great job. Thank you. Really good job. And many, many other officials and government. Everybody is here. You know, it's amazing. I do these things, and often you just don't have a turnout like this. Half of government is here, but my administration is doing everything in its power to help Texas, and I can tell you that and the governor will be the first to tell you that when the request was made for the emergency funds, Christy, I think we gave it within about 2 minutes, maybe less, and they had everything they needed, right, immediately. So we've deployed over 400 first responders and assisted or enabled more than 1,500 rescues. Amazing, 1,500. Customs and Border Protection and the U.S. Coast Guard have deployed numerous search and rescue crews, and they're all over the territory, and trauma teams. And beyond this area, you know, the governor was saying we've gone a little bit beyond this area. Oh, there's Dr. Phil. Look at Dr. Phil. You're looking good, Phil. This is a hell of a situation, isn't it, huh? FEMA has deployed multiple emergency response units, and FEMA has been really headed by some very good people. We have some good people running FEMA. It's about time, right? We get some good ones. They failed us in North Carolina, but when we got in on January 20th, they fixed it up in no time. And the Army Corps of Engineers is always around and always strong and brilliant. We're also taking historic action to ensure that such a nightmare never happens again. And we're going to look and see how can a thing like this, they could say it's 100-year. Somebody said it's a 500-year event. It doesn't. We're not going to let a thing like this happen again where it can wreak this kind of devastation. Earlier this year, I directed a sweeping review of the preparedness and critical infrastructure. I think, again, I have to say, whenever I say that, I have to say that the level of professionalism was incredible. But we'll all work together to find out exactly what can be done, because they do want to rebuild, and they're going to. I just want to say we have a wonderful First Lady, and she's done a great job as First Lady, and she really, very special woman when she saw and met the people that we met just a little while ago. It's very devastating. And would you like to say a few words, honey?
My deepest sympathy to all of the parents who lost beautiful young souls. Deepest sympathy from all of us, to the community, to everybody who lost a loved one. We are grieving with you. Our nation is grieving with you. We just met with the wonderful families. We pray with them. We hug. We hold hands.
Welcome in to CBS News 24/7. You've been watching President Trump on his visit to Texas, talking live. He's been meeting with first responders and others impacted by the deadly flooding in Kerr County on July 4th. The floods killing more than 120 people. 170 are still missing after the floods. Just moments ago, the president spoke about meeting with the victims' families and first responders. Let's take a listen.
But moments ago, Melania and I spent a lot of time with them. That's why we're a little late. I think this was a good reason to be late, frankly. And we just gave our warmest condolences. But you say to yourself, you know, how do you give condolences? How do you do that to a young person that 3 days ago was here, 4 days ago was here and vibrant, and now is no longer here? The search for the missing continues. The people that are doing it are unbelievable people, that you couldn't get better people than this anywhere. Christy, right?
President Trump giving those comments just moments ago. CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi is with us right now. Olivia, what is your takeaway from what we heard from the president, and specifically what the White House is saying about federal versus state response in Texas today?
Well, it's good to be with you. The president spending his time here in Texas meeting with not only first responders, but victim families. You can see behind me the victim memorial wall that is here in Kerrville, Texas. They're expected to have a memorial later today, but the president toured some storm damage and got a briefing from those search and rescue teams about just how much the Guadalupe River swelled in the early morning hours of July 4th. So the president here has been meeting with those victim families and talking about the search and rescue that's underway for 170 people that are still missing. So there's a lot at play here. The president acting as comforter-in-chief for this visit. But to your question about that aid, the president did issue an expanded aid designation for several other counties here in Texas. We're in Kerr County. The president issued it for about 8 other additional counties, which just gives you a scope of the devastation, how big the flood damage is here, how widespread it is. So the president offering more aid there, but you also heard him talking about FEMA. A lot of questions about what he plans to do with that federal agency. That federal agency is run by the Department of Homeland Security, and they have been chipping away at not only the staff, but the focus of FEMA and who will be in charge of handling disasters like this on the ground. The president giving some credit to FEMA for their reaction, giving credit to Secretary Noem for her quick response on some of the reaction to the flood here, but still a lot of questions about what the future of FEMA looks like as an agency at the federal level.
Yeah, and for the people there, help cannot come soon enough. But what is the timeline when it comes to getting federal aid to Texas? Did he define that?
Well, the president says that they approved the federal disaster declaration as soon as it came in. They said they got the request from Governor Abbott and they approved it right after. But now comes the giving of that aid. That's going to take a process of several months, potentially years, that the federal government really pays out for these disasters. The president also mentioned Hurricane Helene, which we saw crazy, insane flooding from that back in September and in North Carolina. And they're still paying some federal aid to that as well, making sure those people are getting what they need to move forward. So looking at this disaster, we're just in the early stages of what they're going to need here on the ground to make sure that they're able to really rebuild this devastated community.
Olivia Rinaldi. Olivia, thank you so much. We continue to stay in Texas in the coverage. We said 170 remain missing. CBS News reporter Karen Waugh has the latest on the search efforts happening right now.
Hey, good to be with you. So we're standing in front of a memorial in downtown Kerrville here that's been put up for the about 120 people who are confirmed dead from these deadly floods. You can see so many of the portraits, many of them children, flowers and crosses, people coming here to pay their respects and collectively grieve. We are on day 8 of this search mission, and unfortunately, as the days go on, hope is dwindling for the about 170 people who are still missing. Still, Texas Governor Greg Abbott says they will not stop until they find every single person who's missing, make sure everyone is accounted for. They're using helicopters, drones, rescue crews, ATVs. We've seen mules, horses, cadaver dogs, different types of canines, every resource possible. Agencies from other states have come into Texas to help, as well as agencies from Mexico to assist in this effort. Also, other nonprofits have come to volunteer their time and resources, making sure that folks and victims' families have things like food, clothing, water, help, support in case they are displaced. Devastating just to continue on these days. The terrain certainly makes the search a lot harder for first responders as well. Texas Hill Country, it's known for sporadic rains. It's also known for the tricky terrain that searchers have to continue to navigate. Back to you.
Karen, thank you. If you'd like to help in the relief efforts, visit cbsnews.com/help Texas for ways to donate. All right, we take you now to Southern California. A clash between protesters and U.S. Border Patrol agents unfolded after immigration sweeps targeted Glass House Farms, also known as the largest licensed marijuana grow facility in Ventura County. Agents deployed what appeared to be tear gas canisters. Emergency crews rushed 4 people to the hospital, while 3 others had to be treated at the scene. Our CBS News correspondent Carter Evans is live at the scene right now where it all unfolded. Carter, we understand there were still people hiding inside the building this morning. Do we know if anyone's still inside right now?
Well, they've done a sweep of the building and they think that everyone is out at this point, but you can still see some family members waiting behind me here. They're waiting to get in, pick up cars.